Hello, hello. I am making a recording whilst it's still bright. What? Not recording in darkness? That's something new. Anyways, I am here. I am back. And today, in one way or another, we're doing a book review. More specifically, a poem book review. Less of a review, more of just reading poems. I read through Anna Akhmatova, and I have realized I do quite enjoy some of her poems. And yes, I can't remember, it's been a long time since I've read this, and I have noted down, marked some poems for me to reread in the video. And yeah, we shall do that. If I have comments for the poems I read, I shall say something. If not, we just move on to the next poem. It's literally just a poem reading session, more than anything. I'll start with the very first poem. I'll tell you how I got about reading hers, and it's to do with how there was a moment where I had the urge of reading Russian poets, and by coincidence I have stumbled upon this book in a bookshop, and I just knew it was a sign that I should have gotten it. Of course, these are translated into English, but yeah, nonetheless, they're still quite beautiful. To start us off, I shall read the very first poem that is within this book. The three things he loved most in life were white peacocks, music at mass, and tattered maps of America. He didn't like kids who cried, and he didn't like raspberry jam with tea, or womanish hysteria. And I was, like it or not, his wife. That's her comedic nature coming about. Alright, it's only about half throughout the book that I started marking which poems I liked, so there's quite a few I've skipped out on. Nonetheless, there's still quite a few. During each day, today, tomorrow, a vague, disquieting time will arise. I'll speak quietly with sorrow, and not even open my sleepy eyes. She pounds like blood, push to shove, like warm breathing, clear and clean, or even like a happy love, very reasonable and mean. Who knows what that poem is actually about? I reread it just now and it's like, what exactly is she talking about? That's a question I will leave for you. Let me know. I hear the oriole's voice, clear and distressed. I greet the waning of the summer, but one wheat ear against another pressed. The sickles with reptilian hisses cut. The short hems of the women in the field fly in the wind like flags on a holiday. Now I yearn for the joyful bells that pealed his dusty lashes, and he didn't look away. I don't expect caresses or words to spare in expectation of that dark descent, but do come look at the paradises where together we were blissful and innocent. In a lot of her early poems, I have realized she writes with more joy and more about love and more about these blissful, innocent feelings, per se. In later poems, there's more pain and sorrow, kind of also due to the times that she lived through. This one was from 1917. One of her last poems was 1960, so there's like more than 40 years jump between the poems that I'm going to be reading in this book. Damn, is it the whole poem? This poem is 2 pages long. I am not reading that. I marked it, but I marked it as a good poem for myself, okay? Not for you. I'm not going through that. I asked a nearby cuckoo to say how many years I had left to live. The tops of the pine tree started to sway. Sunbeams poured down as if through a sieve. But in the woods, not a sound was heard. I'm walking homeward now, and the cool wind, self-assured, soothes my fevered brow. I guess she was sick. I'm understanding it's a bit hard to reflect on the poem as I just read it, because I'm focusing on reading it more correctly rather than taking it in the words that are said. Multitasking is failing. This is a bit of a longer one, but I shall still gift you this. Fear, fingering objects in the dark, points a ray of moonlight at the hatchet. A sound beyond the wall, muffled yet stark. A ghost? A rat? The door? Did I latch it? In the kitchen, it splashes water in the sink. It counts the wobbly floorboards, make them crack. Darts past the attic window, quick as a wink, wearing a beard that's glossy and black. And quiets down, it's full of evil zest. It hid the matches and blew out the candle. A firing squad that I could handle, a glittering line of rifles aimed at my chest. I'd much rather lie on an unpainted scaffold, hearing the crowd in the green village square moan, or cry out in joy as if prizes were being raffled, than shed my dear red blood until it's gone. I press a smooth little cross to my breast. O Lord, let my soul rediscover rest. A musty odour, sickening, sweet, floats up at me from the cool bed sheet. Beautiful. For some reason I don't have any other feeling other than just feeling of beauty once I read her words. And in a sense, this is what makes me want to read her in Russian even more, because like if it sounds like this in a translation, how is it gonna sound in its natural language, original language? That's still something for me to do. I called death down on the heads of those I cherished. One after the other, the deaths occurred. I cannot bear to think how many perished. These graves were all predicted by my word. As ravens circle above the place where they smell fresh-blooded limbs, so my love, the triumphant face, inflicted its wild hymns. Being with you is sweet beyond mention. You're as close as the heart I can call my own. Give me both hands, pay careful attention. I beseech you, go away, leave me alone. Don't let me know where you make your homes. Oh, muse, don't call to him from above. May he live unmentioned in my poems, ignorant of all my love. This one is, I guess, bittersweet in one way or another. Perhaps she foresaw many deaths of the people near her, and she had a love brewing that she ended up letting go because she was feared that death will approach him too. See? Reflection. Understanding in my own sense of the poem that it was. Alright. There's still quite a bit of poems to go, so I guess I'll reach 15 minutes instead of 10. This is a poetry reading session. You came, you got what you asked for, if you're still watching. This poem is called The Muse. When at night I await the beloved guest, life seems to hang by a thread. What is youth, I demand, of the room? What is honor, freedom, the rest, in the presence of her who holds the flute in her hand? But now she is here, tossing aside her veil. She considers me. Are you the one who came to Dante, who dictated the pages of hell to him? I ask her. She replies, I am. With some of these, I don't know if it's to do with how the poem has been translated and structured, but that's the spark that is missed when you're reading a translated poem. It's just how it was originally meant to be read, the original rhythm of the language it was written in. And I have realized there's quite many of poems in this book that are like that I did not understand exactly how to read and how the rhymes were working and all, but we move on. If the lunar horror splashes around, the whole city in poison must steep, without any hope of falling asleep. Through the greenish murk I try to peer. Not my childhood, not the seed comes clear, not the flight butterflies had chosen over a bed of snowy narcissus. In 1916, more or less, but the round dance forever frozen of your tall graveyard cypresses. The Last Toast. I drink to the house already destroyed, and my whole life too awful to tell. To the loneliness we together enjoyed, I drink to you as well. To the eyes with deadly cold imbued, to the lips that betrayed me with a lie, to the world for being cruel and rude, to God who didn't save us or try. That's quite a negative approach to a toast. I think through a lot of her life, she struggled with taking it in a good light. Alright, I have last two poems here, and these shall be the last two poems of this video. The first one is called Dante. It has a little little quote from Dante Inferno. Il mio bel San Giovanni. Inferno. Dante. He didn't go back, even after he was dead, to that ancient Florence of his. Leaving, he looked straight ahead. It's for him I am singing this. Night, a torch, a final kiss. Outside, the sound of fate, a kind of howl. From hell he sent her a curse. In paradise, she was still in his mind. He didn't go barefoot, late at night, penitentially attired. Through Florence, treacherous, full of spite, whom he so faithfully desired. The last poem is called Cleopatra. There's two quotes before the poem. I am air and fire. Shakespeare. The Alexandrian palaces were shrouded in sweet shadow by Pushkin. Pushkin is basically Russian Shakespeare. Already she was kissing the dead Antony's lips, and had wept on her knees before Caesar, betrayed. But her servants, the evening mist was spread under the trees. Like cloth, the victorious Roman trumpet brayed. And the last one to be caught by her beauty, slim and handsome, whispers in mortification, it's arranged. You, in his triumph, he'll send like a slave before him, but the calm arc of the swan's neck is unchanged. Tomorrow they will chain her children, and yet she has something left in the world to do, one more jest. And the little black snake, as if a parting regret, with an equal hand she puts on her swarthy breast. There's that. Like I said, it's rather more of just some poetry reading session rather than a book reflection. Thank you for watching. These videos just give me another reason to read poetry and practice the rhythm and rhymes and just take in the beauty of poets' imagination into my own. Thank you and goodbye. Have a good day.